Hello, everybody. All right, we're gonna start actually asking questions and answering the questions here. So let's warm up slow. First thing we want to do is ask, all right, what are the order totals by customer? So this is where we left off last time. We had a three-way join here, going from payment to customer to rental. Let's just Command K gets you a comment. Let's just look at, I think we just need to look at the payment table. So again, let's just select all from payment. All right, so we have a customer ID field, right? Now we need to get the total amount that they spent. So this is where you're going to be reviewing some basics again. So let's just get customer ID, sum amount from payments. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna make some errors here so you can get up to speed pretty quick. Okay. It says payment customer ID must appear in group by clause or be used in an aggregate function. Anytime you see an error about a group by clause, it basically means you forgot to group by. Pretty simple. So group by customer ID. Okay. Because what we're doing here is we have a column, but we have a sum, right? So we need to, essentially every customer could have tons of rows, but we want to know what the total amount is across all those rows. So we need to keep one column to group by, and we need to do an operation on one column, which is a sum. And you can see here, let's actually see if we could format this as money, just because we're talking about money. All right, so now we've got a customer and their total purchased amounts. Let us see, let's see who the most important customer is. Order by sum, descending. All right, great. So customer ID spent $200. Customer 526 spent 208.58. Great. Now, what I want to show you here is just some tips and tricks for cleaning up your code. Maybe some people will hate me for doing this. Maybe they'll think it's clever. I have no idea. But in your group by and in your order by, you can reference the columns based on the number that they are. So customer ID is column 1, right? We have two columns, 1, 2. And you could also order by the second one, descending. Same deal. Okay, great. So now we can just reference a column by its number. We can clean up the code a little bit, less text. If you want to be explicit, go right ahead. Now, one note about ordering, the default is ascending. Notice that if I take this away, it'll probably do nothing at all, or maybe it will, it is ordering by it. It's going from smallest to highest. Okay, so we got a basic query here. We want to look at our big bad customers in order. So we got that. Now, what if we wanted to see how many orders actually made? Well, keep in mind that we're operating on the payments table, right? So every row in the payments table, let's just fire it up real quick. And if you highlight that, it'll just run whatever you have highlighted. So here, notice that I have a lot of rows. Each row is a payment, right? So what if we just did, we do a count. And count star is something that looks funny, but you're going to see it over and over and over and over again. So get used to it. So we're going to do customer ID, sum of money, count star from payment. We'll just comment that out. Whoops. Command Z. Whoops. Let me just get rid of it. Okay. Some money, we're going to do a count star. It's probably going to bark at me. Okay, it didn't bark at me. All right, so we know now that the customer 148 has 45 payments, 42 payments, 39. Okay, so now you see the number of payments. Now, what if we wanted to get the average rental amount from these people? Let's see if we can figure something out. So you can do math. So if we wanted to do the count star divided by the sum of the amount, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll call that as average rental value. All right, and that really doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I screwed something up here. So we're actually going to do the opposite. We're going to do the sum divided by the count. That's going to make more sense. All right, and that's turning numeric. So any numeric field, you could just slap money onto it. Oh, right, I have different types, so scratch that. So let's stick with our average rental value here. $4, $4.96, something like that. So we've got this. Let's say we wanted to, say we wanted to just look at who actually has spent the most per order. So we could order by, remember how we were talking about ordering by column IDs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just going to order by 4 descending. Let's see what happens. So who's spending the most? Okay, $5.69. Right, what if we want to see, we only want to see people, like these guys don't count, right? They didn't rent more than 20 times. So what if we wanted to kind of filter those out? So filtering, you could do two things. You could do a where clause, or you could do a having clause. So a where clause is just kind of like saying, give me something where this is like that, or it's less than that, or it's higher than that. It's kind of like the most rudimentary filtering. And it goes after the from. So we're just going to say, let's try it out. Where, and I suspect this may or may not work, where count star is greater than 20. It's probably going to get mad. Right, aggregate functions are not allowed in the where clause. Okay, but guess what? You can actually figure. You can actually do something kind of magical here. Having. It's a having clause, and I remember it goes right below the group by. Let's see if it works. All right, great. So let's just recap this because we're moving along a little quick, just trying to get a lot of interesting content in quickly. What the having clause did is it basically said, I only wanted to get rows where this aggregation was greater than 20. Now, what if we just wanted to get the customer ID greater than 300, right? You could still use a where clause for that because the customer ID is not an aggregate. The count star is an aggregation. And aggregate might seem like an obnoxious word, but it just means you're doing an operation on the data. It did something. It could be a sum, it could be an average, it could be a variety of different things, a max, a min. But we can use the where clause for existing columns that are not aggregates. So where customer ID is greater than 300. All right, so filtered it down. Now let's say anything else we can do. Let's do a join. Let's do a join. From payment, we're going to do left join onto customer. And you know what? Anytime you start to join stuff, you want to get your aliases together. So we're going to do P. Now go back up here, alias your data, P.customer_ID, some P.amount, count star, not really going to change there yet. P.amount, average rental value, customer C on P.customer_ID equals C.customer_ID. Now we had 222 rows here. Sometimes it's good before you add in columns from the join, just to see what happens to the row count. So 222 rows, F5 that guy. Oh, customer ID is ambiguous, right? Because it's in both tables. Let's just do P, they should be the same. All right, so we've got this now. What is in the customer table that we could bring in? The, why don't we do the first name? Okay. C.first name. All right. Oh, another group by issue. They're saying that it has to appear in the group by. So, you know what? A good manner of kind of practice here, just for cleanliness, is to keep your non-aggregates kind of earlier in the query, like a customer ID, the name. And then you've got these kind of aggregations. So we're just going to group by 1 and 2. And then we'll hit F5, run it again. Okay, so now we did through, we got Carl, Curtis, Tommy, Brandon, and all these nice folks here. So that is good. What if, yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. So just to recap, started off with the payments table, left join onto the customer table. We created some aggregations. We summed the amount that they bought. We counted the number of orders that they placed. We got the average order value. We explored filtering using having, and again, having is when you filter on aggregates. It's a where clause for aggregates. And where is just kind of like when you want to filter on either a number or text or something like that. Let's actually do a text filter. So let's say we want to match on people that have a B in their name. So we could do where p.customer_id greater than 300 or c dot first name case insensitive like, and we're just going to say they have a B in their name. So Carl and Curtis shouldn't be there anymore. Actually, let's do and. You can do whatever logic you want here. So let's kick that off. All right. So now they have a B in their name. Great. So that's a text filter. I like is a case insensitive like. It's kind of like a regular expression. Depending on whether or not you use these percentage signs here, you'll get different results. You could read about that. One thing that will trip you up over time, if you forget to do the I and you specify the B, it's not going to work as well. It's only going to look for where you have a lowercase b. So anybody whose name starts with a B but doesn't have another B, you're going to miss that. So, all right, that's a good start. We'll keep moving on to more interesting things soon.